So Chennedy Carter is Chennedy Carter. That's all you can say. Chennedy Carter is unapologetically Chennedy Carter. And what she's done now has caused a lot of Chicago Sky fans to lose their damn minds. And it is her basically wanting credit for being the best player on this team. And in her defense, she's the best player on this team. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. If you agree Chennedy Carter is the best player on this team, let's try get to 26,350 by the end of the day. And I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Chennedy Carter is the best player in the Chicago Sky. And this is not me saying, like, oh, this isn't trying to put down Angel Reese. Like, I'm just putting it out there. My opinion of Angel Reese doesn't change. Like, Angel Reese doesn't go down or up in the rankings if you put Like, no one in their right mind is going to argue Angel Reese a top 10 player in the WNBA. I think it's hard to argue that Chennedy Carter is not a top 10 player in the WNBA. It's that she's that level of player. I think the issue is with the Sky, they got nobody else. Especially with Marina Mabrey gone, they got nobody else. They have 2 top 20 players. I think they have probably a top 10 player and somewhere between 22 and 17-ish in Angel Reese. And then nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. So they're not going to be the greatest team, especially when you've got like teams that have depth. When a team's 5th or 6th best player might be a top 30 player in the WNBA. The Sky aren't very good. But the only reason the Sky don't absolutely suck is solely because of Chennedy Carter. She has won multiple games by herself. But Chennedy Carter is... So, obviously, the top list was awful. And then Chennedy Carter tweeted out, when you're undeniably good, there's nothing they can do. Just keep watching. They tried to keep me out. Spit on my name, we prevail. I mean, they just put you low on a list. She then tweeted out, don't sleep... Or not tweeted out. There's a quote from her, don't sleep on me. And she's talking about taking over the second half of the year. And again, she's 100% healthy and ready to go. But there's one thing. And a lot of people are taking this some way. A lot of people are taking this one way. So, like, somebody tweeted out, Angel Reese is crazy. The Sky are meant to be battling for 12, but are looking playoff bound. Again, nobody realized how good Chennedy Carter was going to be. And nobody realized, like, there is context to this. The Mystics the Mystics, again, the Mystics are way better than 6-19. But the Sparks are tanking. The Atlanta Dream were so Ryan Howard heavy, and Ryan Howard got injured. Just like, again, look, if the Indiana Fever lose Caitlin Clark for a 12-game stretch, they might go 0-12. If the Chicago Sky lose Angel Reese for a 12-game stretch, they might go 1-11. Like, losing an important player to a team with no depth, the Dream folded. The Wings became Arike. It became Arike and friends, and they lost every game. And then, like, the only way they win games when Arike is their 3rd best player. Like, when Satu's back, when these other players are back. But they've done better than expected. They're in the playoffs right now. They're probably going to stay in the playoffs, I think, more than likely. And a big reason for that is the play of Angel Reese, but the biggest reason for that is the play of Chennedy Carter. So this tweet here giving Angel Reese full credit. Somebody replied with, Chennedy Carter and the refs are who you should give credit to. And Chennedy Carter liked that tweet. So a lot of people are like, Chennedy Carter's trying to take she's upset, she's annoyed at like Angel Reese getting all the credit. And she's not. She's not annoyed at Angel Reese getting credit. Like, she's come out and said Angel Reese Rookie of the Year. She just doesn't want it to be at her expense because there is nobody more confident in Chennedy Carter's ability than Chennedy Carter. There is nobody that rates Chennedy Carter higher than Chennedy Carter. That is not saying I'm the reason why we're winning. I'm the main reason why we're winning. Is not saying Angel Reese is not great, that she's not Rookie of the Year, which she has come out plenty of times and said tons of times. She's also just pointing out, if you ask Chennedy Carter who's the best player in the WNBA, her answer is going to be Chennedy Carter. So she's obviously doesn't like this discourse of these other players are better than me, or I'm being carried by a rookie. As great, it doesn't matter how great that rookie is. If you ask Chennedy Carter, by the way, who the best rookie in the WNBA is, she's going to say injuries. She's going to say injuries. If you, like, she's came out and said Caitlin Clark can just shoot threes. If you ask her, is Caitlin Clark any good? Her answer is probably no. If you ask her, is any guard any good in this league? Her answer is probably no. We all know a Chennedy Carter type player. We all know someone with that attitude. That they're really damn good at the sport. They are supremely confident that they think they're the best. And that if you ask them for any of their opponents, are they any good? They'll probably say they suck. And if you ask them for any of their teammates, they'd say their teammates are great. But also, their teammates are not better than them. So for anyone being like, oh, Chennedy Carter's out here, like, liking anti-Angel Reese tweets, I think people are, like, it's not really an anti-Angel Reese tweet. It's just basically pointing out Chennedy Carter is the main reason. And I think she's more so being like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm not necessarily trying to put down Angel Reese. And she's not wrong. Again, as a guy who rates Caitlin Clark somewhere between 5 and 10 in the WNBA, I think if you rate Caitlin Clark outside your top 10, you just don't like Caitlin Clark the person. There's no way. Like, if Caitlin Clark was, let's just hypothetically, let's just say she went to UConn. If Caitlin Clark went to UConn and was doing this, Caitlin Clark is in everybody's top 10. There's no question about it. It's just people don't like Caitlin Clark. If Caitlin Clark was generic player 3 from UConn, who didn't get any hype and 20% of the viewership that she was getting, and she was just an everyday rookie, everyone would be like, we need to watch her. All these WNBA players are like, man, you just need to watch her. People are already watching her and they're complaining about that. Like, again, it is a league that was that a lot of people in the league were happy with no one was watching. In hindsight, we can tell that. But as much of a fan of Caitlin Clark as I am, I think you can argue Chennedy Carter's better. I think between all players on both the Fever and the Sky, rookies included, the best is, depending on the day, my opinion changes between her and Caitlin Clark. That is how good Chennedy Carter is. So it's not a knock on Angel Reese. That, just like it's not a knock on Aaliyah Boston saying Caitlin Clark is the best player on the Fever. That doesn't mean Aaliyah Boston is worse. It means just there's a better player. Like, it's not a knock on Breanna Steward to say this season Sabrina Ionescu's been the best player on the Liberty. It's not a knock on Kelsey Plum to say Aja Wilson's the best player. Or Jackie Young to say Aja Wilson's the best player in the Aces. Because it's obvious. Just like it's obvious. I've watched every single Sky game. It's so obvious how much better Chennedy Carter is than everybody else on this team. But, yeah. She's kind of annoyed about it, but I don't think she's annoyed about it in the way that people think. A lot of people are like, oh, she's annoyed about Angel stardom. She's happy with that. She's friends with Angel Reese. She's happy out. She would want Angel Reese to get Rookie of the Year. It's very clear. But she's not going to sit there silently on a day where they rank her as the 24th best player in the WNBA, where they said she's not even the best player on her team. She's not going to sit there and be happy to be ranked as the second best player on her team when she's playing like an all-world guard this year. Straight up. That's all it is. It's not a knock on Angel. She's not trying to go at Angel Reese. She's trying to big up herself. But also, on social media, things are going to get around with. She should probably stay off social media for a while.